I can't believe Sydney wouldn't sleep with a ghost.
Hold on. Sydney would.
Right.
Henrik wouldn't.
There.
Let's get it straight.
It's an achievement in The Sims to sleep with a ghost. I don't know if you know.
We've all been there. We've all wanted to fuck a ghost.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, usually it's pretty easy because like your lover dies and then they just come back and you have the option. I'm very worried about why there's a ghost coming to Henrik. I'm like, that can't be good. And immediately, like his reaction to when he thought like, oh no, everyone's somber. What happened to Doris? When fucking Madame Tekla said that she'd been gone for a week, he knew, like instantly, like the sight and everything. Like he was just like, oh my God, I have been dealing with some sort of specter, like something. Yeah. So it's creeping in on Henrik too, that he's no longer trying to fight it. He's coming to this point where he's like, I have to go probably get Astrid and get help.
Yeah. Let's go to a ball beach.
Oh,
exactly.
A beach ball.
A beach ball.
So you, Astrid, you are currently doing a montage figuring out what you will give Henrik, who haven't even heard
Yeah, he
about
doesn't
the
even
ball.
know. He is heading right now to Castle Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, great. Jake Gyllenhaal and his sister
What's
Maggie.
Henrik's favorite color? I feel like this would have been discussed.
Oh. Okay, let me think. Well, immediately I was going to say yellow. But I don't know if that's like to wear. He just thinks
to wear.
He just likes like a sunflower.
Okay, well, all right.
All right.
This is up to me. You're tasteless.
And it's gonna be like,
This is the exact conversation. You ask him what's his favorite color, and he's like, "Oh, I do like
I
sunflowers."
love it because there's time probably between where she has been like, I no real reason. I just have a surprise for you. Like, by the way, what's your favorite color?
I think he looks great in blues. He doesn't wear blues often. He wears browns a lot.
Yeah.
But I think like a nice tailored like blue suit.
Oh yeah, I got you. Don't you worry about it.
And mostly because you're like the historical.
Yeah, sure.
You know
Come on
these
down.
things. Wouldn't it be black tie though, like at a ball? Like
It would be, but everybody has their. Like, you have a waistcoat, you have this, you have that. And obviously the women have a lot more sway.
Yeah.
And also, I think as new money, you don't know a lot of
Oh, I love that.
these things.
Oh, we're gonna come looking like idiots.
Yeah. I'm so ready. I have it all planned
I love
out.
this.
And looks like she's salivating right now.
But
okay,
really
yeah,
haven't been
so-
able to make a cosplay in a long
Oh
time.
my God.
And so I'm just
We
like,
must cosplay as our ball outfits.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Note taken.
So Henrik's on his way to Castle Gyllenhaal, and
He's running.
Thanks. I thought I was just nervous.
I just fucked the ghost.
No, he's running.
But yeah, so Henrik is now. You let him in. I'm assuming.
Get out. No.
Yeah, exactly.
What you see is Henrik is in a like undershirt with his suspenders and pants and no other shirt on because he woke up, went downstairs, and then immediately left. He like did not put on any of his clothes.
Right.
He's very sweaty, and his
So
hair is down.
is it that morning?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
He
Sorry.
didn't even have time to tie his hair back. His hair is like long and down, and he looks
God.
and he's sweaty to look.
It's like the beast from the end of Beauty and the
Yes.
Beast.
Picture that.
I am. Don't you worry. Okay.
And he's breathing heavily.
All right,
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah, okay, calm down, everybody. Mostly me. Okay. So she goes, Henrik.
You look great.
You've never looked better. Yeah. What's wrong?
I have to talk to you.
Well, come in, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, so she takes Henrik back to the, we'll say like the morning room where there's coffee and some like fika elements set up in there.
Algot gives Astrid one look of like, see?
Yeah, so she sends you on, and then she looks at Algot and she says, just go upstairs and get it ready.
Okay, fine.
We'll clean him up.
And now it's like, fine, I'll polish a turd.
Make sure it shines, she says a little too like and then she like scampers down the hall, and she slips into the morning room and closes the door behind her. And what are you have you descended upon the food? What's your demeanor?
No, he's sitting head in hands, and he looks up, and you then can tell like he's been crying, like his eyes are red and puffy, and he always looks not great, but this looks like he was like recently crying.
She's going to pull up a little ottoman like in front and just sit across from him and say, what? What happened?
She's dead. Astrid. Doris.
Doris.
I didn't tell you about it. It's not important. I guess it's not important now.
Well, it's clearly important to you.
She worked under Madame Tekla.
Oh.
We were friends. She's dead.
What happened?
She's found hung. I don't know.
Oh my god.
That's Astrid. It's not. It's not just that.
You didn't. No, I'm sorry.
No.
Right.
No. Astrid. I've seen her this past week.
Right.
She's come to my room and we spend time together. We talk.
Right.
We're friends. She apparently has been missing for a week. Do you understand what I'm trying to not say?
That you've been speaking to a dead woman for a week?
Fuck! And he, kicks the table.
Yeah. She, is startled by, the outburst. And she kind of, gets up from the ottoman to give him some space because she knows how hard that is going to be to accept. And she lets the silence sort of rest for a little while. By all the gods, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It is hard enough to lose a friend than to be challenged in this kind of way. But everything I know, Henrik, these things happen for a reason. And in life, she was calling out to you, and now perhaps there is something she knows that she needs you to set right.
And he, is very quiet. His head is down. And it's almost like he's whimpering, and he's just, I don't know how to help her. How am I supposed to help her? I can't.
So she, comes and sits down, pulls the ottoman back next to him and, puts an arm around him just comfortingly. And she says, now, here's what we're going to do. Because you're quite good at trying to understand what it is that people want. And as hard as it is, we're going to look at what she spoke to you about. So, without dragging yourself through the hell of trying to understand what happened, let's break apart what she said, the facts, and we'll start there until your head is clearer. So what did she say to you when she was with you?
And Henrik goes through and explains that they would talk about the site without talking about the site.
Mm-hmm.
So she would talk about her experiences and sort of they would dance around the subject of the supernatural, but never overtly be it was this, a ghost, it's a Vassin. And Henrik would confide in her on his past and the horrible things that he's seen and experienced.
Right.
And I think he really gets across to Astrid too that Doris really was a friend, because Astrid is the only other person in Henrik's life who he could ever talk to about these things.
Yeah.
And he explains that this last time he saw her, she wanted to have sex with him and be with him romantically, and they had never done that, and he turned her away. And he kind of starts almost crying a little bit at that part too, because he's what was I supposed to do?
You did what you would have done. The only thing you could have done was be true to yourself, which is That's a tough nut to crack, I will say. But did she? Do you tell her about the how she thought she was going to be swallowed by?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think Henrik also expresses like it could be suicide. He's like, I'm not sure. Like we definitely both are like two depressed people who have talked about depression. I don't know if they call it depression then or what they would call it, but
Yeah.
he was like, she wasn't happy, but also, why would she do that? You know, like, why would she kill herself? She was making money and she was my friend. Like, why wouldn't she talk to me about it? So he just kind of is like now going, he's told you everything and now he's kind of like going in circles of like, why would she do that? Why
If
would she
she
do that?
had the sight in life, it is absolutely possible that some sort of Vasen could have drawn her to that fate.
Does Astrid have learning?
You know, I'm sure that she does. Yes.
Well, how about you roll a learning?
Okay. I will.
Do you have learning?
so-
Yeah, do you want me to roll too?
I have a logic of 4 and a learning of 1. Okay, so I'll roll 5. All right, 1 success.
One success.
Hey.
I was like 60 dice. But,
Yeah, well, I have a 4 in learning and a 4 in logic.
So both of you know that there are ways, rituals even, to potentially communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
You might know
Yeah.
areas in this house that would lend itself well to
Yeah.
that sort of
To a seance.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I think Henrik alludes to it a little. I'm not saying
Yeah.
we should do that, but he's kind of like, I wish that I could talk to her again.
Yeah.
You know, I fucked it up the last time. I wish I
Yeah.
could talk to her.
There is a lot about me that will confuse you and make you think that I am crazy. But all I want to do is to help you. That is the principle upon which the society was founded. And so even if you cannot believe in the things that I am suggesting that we do, and I am suggesting that we try to reach beyond this veil and speak to Doris, as you have already done, in your own way, I hope, even if you don't believe that it's possible, that you'll believe in me.
And he looks up and he's looking a little bit better now that you've sat
Yeah.
and talked. And he kind of like gives you like a half
Yeah.
kind of smile. And he says, Astrid, I wouldn't come here if I didn't actually want your help. I know what you're capable of.
All right. Well, then let's find the proper place. And also on December 10th, there is a ball. It is a winter's ball. It's at Count Peter's place, and you are invited, and you're coming with me.
What?
My husband's going to be in Greece. We have an outfit all planned for you. So just look forward to that.
What?
And
Right.
And
After the seance, going to a ball.
And at that moment, Algot comes in and is like, "It is ready."
What?
You're going to love the way you look. I guarantee it.
What?
I'm picturing the little mouse voices. Hooray! Hooray!
Yeah, I look I look down at Thor, and Thor gives me like the and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh no,
exactly.
this is a
See,
cartoon.
Here's how it's presented, if you're down with this.
Sure.
This whole time, ever since she offered, even before, as soon as Henrik was in town again, she has been making a room ready for Henrik.
Oh, that is so cute.
And so the entire time, like, she's been preparing it. And so now this is the first time she's taking Henrik to the room, but she's not telling Henrik that it's his room. But it is particularly designed to, like, there's like a writing table. There are pictures. There's like, we'll say on the wall, there are like old school like hunting rifles and pictures of like boxers and things like that, and like things that she thinks
It's a man's room.
It's a man's
like,
room.
I was expecting like it's a leather couch.
Yeah,
it's like
There's
Well,
a whiskey bar.
There
like a-
is,
oh
right?
my
Like
God.
there's
a
all of that.
waterbed.
Oh, what the fuck?
No. And the most important thing is that it is like private.
Mm-hmm.
Laying down on the bed, laid out for you, is beautiful like trousers and a navy blue, like royally blue, navy blue cummerbund. It's all like the classic like black tie waistcoat with the long tails behind it, but it also has a blue silk vest underneath it. So they're just like pops of blue.
Pretty.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Henrik walks in. He goes, "Oh, is this Alget's room?"
No.
I
mean-
scoffs.
So rude.
So rude.
I think Henrik does pull you aside at some point, whether before or after he sees the room.
Yeah.
But he kind of just tries to be casual, and he's like, "I'm not sure if you have any rooms available, but I don't think."
Oh, did you like that one?
The one.
Did you like it?
Oh, the one we were in.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I just
It's just fine.
Oh, I mean, well, it's
Alget
very.
is like, matey.
No, I mean it's very nice. It's too nice.
Right.
I don't.
Well, don't sell yourself short.
Astrid, I don't want to beg, but I can't stay with Madame Tekla.
Well, then you should stay here, she says, before you're even finished. It's like she's so bad at my master plan is to make him think it was his idea, but she can't let you finish.
Exactly.
and he can't ask for help, so
Yeah.
he's just like,
Yeah. She says, "Oh, this old thing, it's perfect. It'll do."
And I think Henrik is oblivious to this.
Yeah.
And he like walks in, he's like, "Yeah, it's great." And he goes, "Guns are a bit much, don't you think?"
Yeah,
Yes.
and then
Alget is like, yes.
yeah,
I agree.
She says they're antiques. They don't really function anymore.
Good to know in case I.
Yeah.
What is my accent changed to?
I don't
I'm
know.
doing, like
It's too
Alget.
nervous.
Good to know. Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I love this room.
She literally says, "Well, I saw that you had a gun one time. So now I'm realizing that was very silly. Not that these weren't here the entire time. I didn't source them for you."
Henrik now
particularly.
realizes what the
Yeah,
situation
yeah,
is.
exactly.
And he just says, "Astrid, thank you."
Of course. And you can hang anything there. We can put the guns somewhere else.
I think the guns are quite creative.
Very strong.
Strong.
Shall I prepare a bath for you?
Oh,
I insist, yeah.
I insist.
Henrik
He's
like, oh
Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
please,
Amazing.
yeah, and maybe a shave.
Where
kit.
can we send for the rest of your things?
Where?
Where can we pick up the rest
Yeah,
of your
I-
You know,
that's-
sensing like Alget being kind of a dick to Henrik, she'll say, "Oh, I've already sent for them." She hasn't, but she will separately.
Ah,
She says they're coming this afternoon.
great.
Yeah.
Why would you let me do my job? And then
You were busy doing all this, and she kisses him on the cheek and like spins out of the room.
And,
And
Henrik
he-
kind of nods.
and he's just like, and then walks away.
How did this guy tolerate Francibald?
Yeah, exactly. They're so different, but like there's something to be said for people who are like this,
Yeah.
and then they find that like the
Person
one
who makes
person
them
that
feel
they
vivacious.
balance.
Yeah, each other.
But even I think, I mean, I'm sure it's interesting also though what Francible saw in this guy.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
So you've invited him to the ball, but and you now have your dress, and you want to perhaps do the seance or wait
Yeah.
with that. Depends a little bit. Yeah. what you
Yeah,
wanna do next.
she's going to look for a good place to have it. So
And it's
she'll,
still afternoon, like early
Yeah.
after. Like Henrik takes
we
his
have
bath
time to
and-
prepare for that. I would
It's fika time. I hear what you're saying.
Ah, yes, it's
Yes.
always fika time.
No, but we can rush. We can skip and go directly to the seance if you want.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say let's prepare whatever.
Yeah, so what do we need to enact this, Ellie?
You need you as an occultist.
Yeah.
You can use your observation to perform seances where you can contact the dead.
And I think Henrik does go back to Madame Tekla. He tells you, he goes, I'd actually like to get my own things, if that's okay. And he does go back and he literally had nothing. He had quite a bit of stuff. He had like a bunch of drawings on the wall.
Uh-huh.
He takes them all down.
She is going to tell you before you leave to try if you can to get something of hers.
That's exactly what he was thinking. I'm gonna say, like, they talked about it.
Yeah.
You said, here's what I need.
Yeah.
So he goes back, he gives Madame Tekla the last payment, and he's not going back there. He knows he's
No.
going to stay at Castle Jake Gyllenhaal. And Gillenhurst. He gets his stuff. He takes the drawings off the wall. His room is a shithole. It was a shithole, but like he did nothing to it. So he just throws it all in a suitcase, takes his 2 other jackets he had, and then he's going to go to Doris's room. He knows where she stayed. And is it unlocked?
No.
All right.
And she's sharing it with 6 other women.
Well, he's going to knock on the door.
It's currently empty.
Okay. He's going to pick the lock.
All right.
Yes. I don't know what I do for that.
I'm gonna let you. I mean,
Okay. I bought the lock picks.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna
be.
be.
The lock pick is gonna give you a bonus.
I'm just gonna let you get in.
Okay.
Yeah. You do it.
You do it.
I do it. I get in, and I know like where her stuff is. I haven't been in her room, but like she's talked to me in her room before.
Yeah.
So I just go to her trunk and I open it up and I get like a scarf of hers that I know that she would wear and liked.
There's also a brush.
I take that too.
Yeah.
With her hair, with her DNA.
Yeah, exactly, her DNA and a small little doll.
Oh.
Do not take that doll. Do not.
I think he holds it up, and I think he
And then burn it.
like touches the head of it, and just like it sucks. Like he's just thinking about Doris and like the horrible childhood she had,
Yeah.
and they talked about so much.
Yeah.
And I think he just looks at this doll and he's like, I can't. What am I gonna do with this? Like I can't. It belongs to no one now. I can't take this on. I can't take on this burden. So he puts the doll back, and he kind of just like touches her pillow, and leaves.
Yeah. And they let you. Madame Tekla is assuming that you're just here to gather your things, and isn't really paying attention because she knows that these girls don't know anything.
She's got work to do.
Exactly. And so I think, for the sake of time, or I mean, we can wait till next episode, I guess, to go to the ball. But I don't wanna.
All right, so let's do the
seance.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I get back, I bring Astrid the brush, and Henrik is in not better spirits, but he's like, at least I'm being proactive about one thing.
Yeah.
He hasn't done shit for the past whatever many months.
All right, so you do the seance. It's you know that when there's a presence, like you're sitting in a circle and there's a presence, suddenly you feel something. It's something in the air, and so you feel that she's there. It's not like a ghost is appearing or anything.
Yeah.
It's more like you have a feeling.
Like I smell her perfume almost in the room.
Do you have any questions you want to ask her, or?
Yeah, I think we had talked about, like, Astrid and Henrik had talked, like, okay, you can, like, try to talk to her. Like, she knows you. You should try to reach out. So I think Henrik, as they're doing the seance, is kind of like, Doris, I want you to tell me what you need. I'm so sorry. I didn't understand. I understand now, and I want to help you. So please just tell me what you need or what happened or...
Astrid starts speaking, but it's not Astrid. Henrik, is that you?
And he looks at Astrid. It sounds like Astrid, like it's Astrid, but
It's a weird, it sounds honestly like her.
Weird.
But like...
But the tone is different. Like,
Yeah.
I don't speak like that.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. He like looks at Astrid, and he can tell that you are like not there. And he goes, Doris. Holy shit. Doris, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm not in pain anymore. I want to thank you. And there's something inside of you that's just warm all of a sudden. Like it's a good, comfortable feeling. I'm happy where I am.
Doris, you came to me in my room. We talked, and I'm sorry.
I've been so lost for so many years. And then the connection breaks. And Astrid comes back. But both of you are quite confident that what she needed from you is what she got that night.
Oh.
And so she has actually been able to leave.
To pass on.
Yeah.
What happened?
I said goodbye. It's done.
All right. So then you helped.
Yeah. And Henrik kind of like gets up.
Yeah.
And leaves the room.
I think a part of you realizes that by not caving into her, at least that's what I wrote in my like conditions of like,
really?
if you had slept with her, she would have haunted you.
Whoa.
But you
Good
didn't.
work.
Oh shit.
Exactly.
I was like, you caught me in a real moment too. I was like, he could, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And she did seem sincere, and she was sincere as the ghost of like, this is what I
want. Yeah.
What I wanted.
Yeah.
But till the very end, Henrik treated her as a human, and that's why she was able to pass on.
That's so nice. Oh. Yeah, and Henrik is...
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. High five. You can tell Henrik is like extremely grateful.
Yeah.
He's like, he looks exhausted. Like this was a lot for him.
Yeah.
So he like doesn't just storm out. He's just like, I'll see you in the morning and we can talk about the ball. And he kind of smiles and waits a moment and then he's like, okay, yeah, good night.
She takes out her mother's book about Vaesen and flips to the section about ghosts and begins, like she has like a hand on the brush and the shawl, and she just begins quietly, like, and kind of breathlessly just writing as her hair just like hangs around her face in the dim flickering firelight.
Both of you sleep very well that night. It's like you're being protected by something. And weeks go by.
Until December 10th.
December 10th is coming up. December 10th, by the way, Nobel's birthday. He's not born yet. Or he's born, but he had the
Nobel Prize.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
I was like...
Alfred Nobel. He's
Should have said his first name. I would have known who you were talking about. Alfred. Old Alfred. Yeah.
Old Alfie.
Alfie, yeah.
Alfie, as I call him.
No, but he was probably born, but his prize has not. This is not like.
He didn't win his big prize yet.
Well, he didn't create the prize, but
He won it also.
Exactly. You're like, he won it.
I made this for me.
If you make a prize, shouldn't you get it first?
I
don't
mean,
know.
The Eleanor's Awards. Anyway,
There you go. The Ellies.
The Ellies.
Oh,
Ooh.
my
You get an
God.
Ellie.
You
get an
should
Ellie.
give an Ellie at the end of every episode.
Dude, I was gonna say that.
There's only two of us. The competition is going to get fierce.
I'm gonna tell you guys this though. Thanks to your badass handling of the first Vaesen of the season, I'm going to award you with an advantage for your next mystery, which means that you get +2 on a skill check.
Who? Both?
Yep, both of you. You get an advantage on your next.
Ooh.
Well, and I'm thinking this is something you can get like I don't know if you read about advantages, but you get it based on your prep before a mystery. But I'm thinking this is like a little bit more like hero points in Pathfinder 2.
Sure.
I mean, or we could just retcon and say like, oh, we have advantage because in our prep
Exactly.
we did something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. Thank you, mommy.
So when you say +2, it means I rolled 2 extra dice?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah, nice. Okay.
So yeah, that's gonna be great. And finally, we arrive on the date we've all been waiting for.
December 10th.
December 10th. This is better than Christmas, by the way. Nah. This
So
is
much
better than
better.
sex.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay.
Oh my.
Christmas and sex.
Christmas
Sex
and
with
sex.
whom,
This
though?
ball better be fucking cool.
Yeah. Let me paint you a picture. Snow, boom. White, boom. Cold as fuck, boom. I mean, it's already amazing.
It's funny because
This
I
sounds
just,
bad.
whenever you say boom, I think of like a giant snowball just plummeting into the earth and exploding all over
I
town.
thought you were gonna say a giant penis, like a
Wha-
snow, boom.
What is going on? You mentioned sex once, and now my head is gonna be gone for the rest of this episode.
Ellie,
That's
Ellie,
where,
Ellie, Ellie.
That's where I want you to be.
This is serious.
Yes. No. Yeah.
This is a ball, Ellie. This is serious.
We don't how much white stuff is on the ground?
Say a blanket, a sheet, a down quilt of white snow.
Okay.
Uppsala. Uppsala, the town you're currently in, is looking like the stereotypical old European Victorian winter wonderland. I'm thinking snow is, there. I actually wrote snow is hanging from the roofs. But now I'm like, ew.
Ropey snow is hanging from the eaves.
Henrik looks out the window and gets horny. He's like,
exactly.
What's going on?
This reminds me of something.
I can't place it.
But I'm thinking, okay, just to bring it back to PG-13, I feel like you have horse sleds everywhere, gorgeous Christmas decorations, and despite the fact that the sun goes up at noon, true story, and sets at 3 p.m., also true story,
Wow.
there's this very jolly mood in the whole town because everyone's excited for Christmas, including the two of you.
Let me just tell you, this house is dressed for the occasion.
Oh, really? Tell me about it, Anne. Be brief.
I can't do it. No, there are candles everywhere, beautiful, old baubles and things hanging from the tree, setups of like ivy and holly and ivy and like red candles and things like that on different windowsills, and they're not acorns, pine cones and things like that, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. There's garland all down the front staircase and everywhere that there are railings, and it's just really pleasant.
I think of like the Nutcracker,
Little
like,
wooden toys
yeah,
about.
and it's just everything is just pretty. You have big, large fireplaces, and I never grew up with any of that, but I think like that's Christmas to me.
And of course, over our fireplace, we have stockings.
Oh,
And there's one for Algit and me. And of course, there's one hung a little bit lower down for Thor with a big bone sticking out of it. And there's a new bone that goes in there every single day. And he goes over and gets it and then goes and lays in front of the fire like an adorable baby.
Wait, does Henrik have a stocking?
Yeah, and Henrik, I'm sorry. We open.
His is tacked up like right at the end as if you
We
forgot. You're
open,
like, oh shit.
perhaps.
it's like an old cum sock.
Oh my god! Why?
Sorry, I need to get out of it.
Henrik can't just have nice things. He had such a fucking
Don't you have
hard time.
enough nice things now? I gave you lots of nice things earlier.
Whatever.
Okay. So, but yeah, I would say that like Algit gingerly hangs the stocking
Oh my
for
God.
Henrik because for some reason Algit like
Doesn't
hates
like
everyone.
Yeah, does not like Henrik.
Oh yeah, there's also one for my husband who's in Greece.
Oh my
But
god,
there-
you're a fucking
he'll get-
husband.
I forget about him all the time, but
And Henrik's stocking, and that's it.
he's a good man.
All right, Henrik is in the bath. This is the day of
Okay.
the. Okay, well, relax. This is the day of the ball. So Henrik is taking like his first, I would say, even though he's been in Castle Jake Gyllenhaal for a little bit as after he moved in and stuff, he hasn't felt very comfortable yet, and he's been still living this sort of like starving writer life of just being like, I look like shit, I smell like shit, I feel like shit, I am shit. He's just been down in the dumps, but he knows the ball means a lot to Astrid, so he is like fully taking like a spa bath that Algit had put out stuff for, so he comes out looking fresh as fuck.
What does he do with all the hair?
The hair he's putting in, I guess maybe he'll ask Astrid's opinion, but he was going to do a low pony, the classic like parted down the middle sort of vampire's assistant. Is that no?
Interview with a
Interview
vampire?
with the vampire. Thank you. What the fuck?
I'm interviewing this vampire to be
For an
my new
assistant position.
executive assistant.
Vampire Secretary is a sequel.
I kill, you take notes. It's trickle
attention.
down vampire-nomics.
You're gonna get credit, but it's a small stipend.
Who's the production assistant?
It's an intern with a vampire. Okay. Anyway, he's gonna look like that. That's what he looks like.
Well, I'm very excited to hear what Astrid looks like as well, because this.
Oh my God.
I feel like Anna's prepped for this her entire life.
You're right. You're right, Ellie. You're right. I have been thinking about this my entire life. We start from the feet. 2 satin white slippers.
Nice.
Moving up past the ankles, which are covered because I'm not a whore. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. She has on she's worn a lot of like silks and, you know, more like shiny material, but sort of in the warmth of the season, she wears this deep midnight blue velvet gown. And the fabric is all kind of like gathered in different places just to create the effect of just like volume in the dress with like voluminous folds, and it looks soft and nice, but it is very clearly the dress that somebody who wants to be a noble person but isn't quite nobility would wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she has a necklace made of diamonds, basically. So she's wearing all of the things that seem to look good together that she has. And it's clearly very manicured, but it is not as extravagant as you might expect.
Gotcha.
And then woven into her hair, she's got holly and ivy and little like red berries and stuff.
Oh, like lingonberries.
Yeah, like lingonberries.
Oh,
I love that.
That are kind of like woven into like braids and curls, and then it kind of hangs in ringlets. Her blonde hair kind of hangs in ringlets over her shoulders, and it's like an off the shoulder gown, so it's like there's exposure, no ankles.
No
But
ankles.
we got topsies.
My boobs are out. Just full boob, no ankles.
Full cleave.
Use your imagination for those feet.
I took the cleave feet on my character.
Yeah, I feel in a couple of years I've been very vague about when this is sometime in the 19th century, because I don't want people to be like, ew, well, technically it's when this and this happened then. And
We're
I'm
doing
like,
our best, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, trying to be accurate.
Well, not really, actually.
I'm trying to be so inaccurate that you can't get mad at us or place us in time or history.
But like
We have fun.
but this is before when like that Victorian super high neck
Right.
thing happened, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I think the thing about it is mostly for like, as far as sensibility, I'm going off of like Grand Duchess Anastasia.
Yes,
In the film, like that's kind of, she's got the long white gloves,
Yeah.
but instead of it being like a sparkly midnight blue dress, it's just like velvet folds and
Yeah.
like sewn into
I love
different
it. I love it.
shapes and stuff. Yeah.
So we match.
You match.
So I think I'm waiting for you downstairs.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you're gonna make a grand entrance.
You're exactly right. So she descends the staircase and she says, "Well, you've cleaned up rather nicely, I think, Henrik."
You look marvelous, Astrid.
She kind of demurs and blushes a little, and she says, "Well, thank you. You know, women work very hard at it."
He's like, I know. Yes.
Yes.
Elga is standing in the background, just looking at this awkward exchange.
God.
Like, anyway, the carriage is here.
Oh, good. 2 white horses, then.
Yes, they're actually brown, but anyway,
I said white, Elgit. She looks mildly disappointed, and she goes, "We'll still look fabulous." Like,
Astrid, you should watch your step. There's quite a bit of snow out. I'll help you to the carriage.
oh, all right. There's like that awkward moment as she's being helped, where she's like, "Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah, this is happening."
Are you guys ready to then go to the damn ball? So I have one little retcon to make.
Okay.
When I showed off air, I showed Sydney what Uppsala Castle looked like, and she said,
I said it was very ugly.
yeah, she said in Sydney's voice exactly like that. She said, "It looks like a prison." So, in order to please,
I wasn't upset. Okay, and to be fair, the current photos now look like shit because the city was built around it. Obviously,
Season 1,
the
Ellie hates Sweden. Season 2, Sydney hates Sweden. Season 3, what will Anne hate next?
I'll give you one
Sweden
guess.
has been nuked and it's not around anymore.
I need to say because everyone's gonna be mad at me in Sweden. The older photos and layouts are gorgeous because it had like a huge garden, almost
save.
like in DC how it just has like the what is it, the mirror pool, the big long pool.
Oh,
The one in DC.
The mall.
Yeah.
The
right?
ball.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
By
know.
the Washington Monument.
Yeah, I've never been there. Anyway, it had like a beautiful layout like that.
Sydney hates Sweden and America.
The latter is true, folks. Anyway, the castle is fine. I didn't mean to insult you.
I'm not insulted at all. I didn't build it, but I think you have a point.
I mean, in France, they believed in having beautiful buildings and
Exactly.
gardens. I'm just saying.
And I thought about it. So there is a much prettier castle very close to Uppsala.
Okay.
Called Skoklosterslott.
Yes,
Which is-
Skokloster.
Exactly. That's how you say it. And this was built during the Swedish Age of Greatness. So basically, the castle is a display of the full sumptuous splendor of the Baroque era. With detailed chambers, home to collections of paintings, furniture,
Good call,
textiles,
Sydney.
and
This is much better. Good
yeah,
job, Sweden.
and there's like so many treasures there as well. So it's built basically as a display castle.
Hell yeah.
For balls.
To the ball.
And don't even get me started on its current Christmas decor. Actually, don't get me started on that because I don't want to talk more current Christmas decor.
Damn it. That's why I play these games.
Yeah, and so you get there. It's maybe like, I mean, you can take actually a boat there from current Uppsala, but for the intents and purposes, I don't want you guys to travel 2 days to get to this ball, so we're gonna pretend it takes you roughly half an hour. And I can see how it being like a little nice parade of carriages just dropping off people
Yeah.
one
It's like
by one.
the red carpet. You come out and then
And the two of you enter the castle, and then you get to the main ballroom, and there's two footmen there. They're opening the door at the same time, and you hear this.
Oh my god.
is everyone dancing?
Yes.
Oh, are they all spinning around in
Yes.
unison? Oh
Yes.
my god.
It's like the teacup ride.
Well, it just makes me think of Anastasia. That was such a good
Yeah.
reference before because
Yeah.
that's like perfectly how I pictured this basically.
Yeah, and they're like in a synchronized waltz. I know Tchaikovsky probably hadn't written this yet, but it is canon now.
So as this happens, Astrid grabs, like we've been like walking, I assume with like my hand laid over your arm, but she actually takes your hand, and when you look at her, it becomes very clear, despite all pretenses, that she has never experienced something like this
Oh, yes.
ever,
And
and she looks like just like a little girl.
So excited, so happy.
Yeah.
I think Henrik like first is like, oh, thinking something's wrong when you grab like you're gonna fall or something.
Yeah.
And he looks over and he sees your face and he like kind of like pats your hand
Yeah.
a little bit, and he is like taking it all in too. He doesn't come from money. He's never really gone to balls before. He feels like a total fish out of water, but he feels good that he's there with you.
Yeah.
Even though obviously he realizes now, he's like, oh, this is big for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see a mixed crowd of eccentric academics who don't really seem to care about their appearance at all, to extremely fancy-looking noblemen and women wearing the latest fashion from the continent. And it's a very international crowd as you walk around the vaults that you're probably a little bit too intimidated by to be like, I don't know any of these steps, like at least not in this way. I can see it being like, freaking Snow Lake dance.
Snow Lake. It's like off-brand Swan Lake.
We couldn't get the rights to Swan Lake. It's Snow Lake, everybody.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly, but like it's like super professional looking dancers, and you're like, I'm just gonna stand in the corner then, watching you dance. Anyway, but you hear a bunch of languages being spoken, like English, French, German, some Farsi and some Chinese. So this seems to be a huge, big international event, and you know that it is. It's like a big science fair. It's before the Alfred Nobel Prize, and you melt in. It's not like you're not a sore eye or anything, but you're not necessarily drawing any attention to yourselves either. You don't look rich enough to be bothered, to be fair. But you don't look poor enough to be kicked out.
I try.
Exactly. Yeah, poor Astrid. She's like, I'm wearing this diamond necklace, and it's like, oh, is that 20 carat diamonds?
I feel like she probably realizes that wearing, flowers in her hair is something like girls in the countryside do. Like, this is an urban international crowd.
Well, yeah, but I think, as I said, like it's not like people are downright looking down on you, because there's plenty of students there as well from Uppsala who are like, they can't afford at all what you're wearing, so you're very much middle class.
Yeah.
And the people who invited you, the Count, Peter Did I say his name? I did say his name last episode, I think. Peter Schneider.
Yeah.
If I didn't,
You did.
then that's his name. And he's a handsome man, a very handsome man, with black hair and brown intense eyes. He's the kind of dude you go, uh-oh, when you see in real life. This is trouble. You know, but...
Tell me more about that, Ellie.
well, maybe over a drink one time. Because it's like an intimidating charm about him. You know, you don't know what to do with yourself, so you start salivating and breathing in a weird way. And then his gorgeous wife next to him, and you know her to be Johanna Brahe Schneider. Brahe is a noble family that he married into, basically. And she's also very gorgeous, but she looks kind. And she's standing next to him, and she has red hair, green eyes, and wearing a beautiful green dress and a beautiful tiara made of hundreds of diamonds. And she looks very, like, effortless standing there. And then you have the Vice Chancellor Eskild Andersson, who's the Vice Chancellor of the Uppsala University. So he's sort of the boss or like the principal of the thing. And he's a man in his 60s with white beard and a mustache. Looks a little calm and calculating, but still relatively approachable. And they're both greeting you. And so you approach him. And he's looking at you with intense eyes.
She does a very practiced curtsy, lowers her gaze, and just says, "Your Grace."
Henrik, following suit, bows low, one arm tucked behind him, one arm in front, and just says, "Your Grace."
Yeah, and they seem to not pay any more attention than that, and they're just letting you pass the internet.
Yeah. So she like looks up, and then she's like, kind of glances at you, and she's like, looks with like jerks her head a little bit, and is like, and that's that.
Yeah,
You did it. Like,
and we quickly scurry into the ballroom.
yeah.
A couple of servants comes by and offers you some food from their trays, but otherwise it's like a little bit up to you what you guys want to do now. It's there's a bunch of people here. There's professors who are talking about like scientific discoveries. There are students who seem to be very young and a little bit like not really sure what to do with themselves. And then there's a bunch of nobles who are like giving hungry eyes to Henrik because he looks hot as hell, whereas the women look at Astrid a little bit jealous. They're like, because they haven't seen you before. You haven't really been presented to this crowd.
Well, she's gonna do her best to kind of like greet people she knows, like the few people she's met, and try and represent Castle Gillenkreutz as best as she can.
Yeah.
But she knows that this is going to be an impression. It's the first time she's sort of been out in society on the international stage, and she is definitely speaking to people that she knows and introducing herself and Heinrich as best she can, but she's not looking to make waves.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, you guys want to kind of blend in.
Especially since her husband isn't here. But she does talk about the fact that, oh, my husband is in Greece. He's been called away on business.
So that sort of spreads like a little wildflower that when they discover that Henrik is actually, you guys are not together.
Yeah.
So suddenly you find yourself surrounded by 4 or 5 women looking at you, just waiting for you to entertain them, basically, and they're just
with their fans.
Exactly, they're like,
Oh my god!
tell us another story.
I think he like Henrik is like, oh well, if you couldn't tell, I'm not from Sweden. I'm from originally Waterford,
Where
Ireland.
is that?
Ireland. If you've ever been.
Ireland. Oh. And they're just
no. Yeah, so I think he tells
What
him.
a curious accent. Like,
and I think he doesn't want to talk about like his personal life, and he doesn't want them to ask questions about like Astrid or any. He doesn't want to give away information that's not his to give away. So I think he really just like talks a lot about Ireland. Like, when you don't know what to talk about. Yeah. Like he's like, oh, well, I moved to Dublin when I was 6. No, I think I was 7. Could have been 8. And it's the most, like, they don't even know what Ireland is or looks like. And he's talking about, like, the cliffs of Dover. And he's like, well, originally I could be wrong about that date though. And he like just goes on and on. So whether they're entertained or bored, that's up to you.
They probably can't hear a word you're saying. They're not like, they're just staring at you, being like nodding. They're not interested in what you have to say at all. They're just looking at you as a man. And so what titles do you have?
And I think he does talk about, he wants to do the same thing Astrid's doing. He knows this is important. And I think he says, oh, well, I'm a party to Castle Gillenkurtz and
oh, Lord Gillenkreutz. But then as soon as they find out that you don't have any titles,
They
you're
leave.
not they're just like, Brenda, I think I need to use
Brenda.
yeah, Brenda, I need to use the powder room or whatever, and then they scurries off. And Henrik finds himself alone because Astrid is currently occupied dancing.
Sorry.
Henrik gets a drink.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, she is living her best ball life, and it comes off, I think, every once in a while. She like goes left when she's supposed to go right, you know, and so, things like that, but mostly she's just having a great time.
Oh, I love it. So there's a slight buzz as a new couple enters the room. It's almost as if people quiet down a little bit and they're just paying attention to this new couple. And you see a man in his 50s with a very impressive mustache and a posture that demands respect. And he's wearing a full military uniform.
Ooh.
And in his arm is a very young and very beautiful woman with icy blue eyes. But, I mean, frankly, she looks like 17. Exactly. Elsa. No, she looks like she's 17, like 16, 17. She's young looking, very, very young looking. And they walk up to greet the Count. I want you guys to roll a little observation.
A little observation.
I love to roll my dice. That's 2 success. Whoa.
Okay, that's 1 success.
Okay. So you got 2 successes. Yeah, okay. So both of you know by asking people next to you that this is Mr. and Mr. Magnuson, and he is a very wealthy miner. He used to be an officer in the Swedish military. But then he invested in some mining prospects early on, and he is one of the wealthiest people in Sweden.
In all of Sweden?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Possibly Scandinavia even. And his wife is relatively new to the scene, but given their age gap, even back then, there was some gossip about that, because the gossip you've heard from probably people right now as well, like she was supposed to marry his son. But then the son died.
Oh no.
Yeah, and now
Ew.
Exactly. So it's a little interesting. And that obviously lends itself to a lot of gossip.
Wait, do we know how the son died?
No. As far as you know, it's just a regular 19th century disease that probably existed.
All right, sounds like it's not a regular death, but we'll get to that later, I'm sure.
I'm sure you won't. Anyway, there's something about her though, and you're noticing. Because of your observation, Henrik, you're noticing that the Count is looking at her in a very interesting way, and they seem to have some sort of moment. And the Count's wife, Johanna, is not liking it at all. But then the presentation starts, so you don't really have an opportunity to figure out anything more about these two. You probably are a little bored by most of it, because...
Are we standing? Are we just like...
Yeah, you're standing.
Oh.
So, yes, you're standing there and you're listening to people with like a translator as well, because not everyone is speaking Swedish or English. Someone is like, and then we discovered blueberries are actually blue because... And then it's, nothing. But then it's time for the Vice Chancellor of Uppsala, Mr. Eskil Andersson, or Eskil Andersson, if you're Swedish. He gets up and he starts talking. 2 years ago, the university was approached by an interesting proposal that at a first glance, frankly, seemed outlandish and unrealistic. And dare I say, I was almost offended by the preposterous nature of the proposal itself. But, however, after several meetings and many visits, I do not regret having the honor of today announcing a new chapter in the history of Uppsala University. I am of course talking about our newly built research center in the north. And today I have the great honor of introducing the pioneer behind all of this, Mrs. Sigrid Magnusson. And the young blonde that we've seen before with the frosy eyes. She gets up.
Sigrid.
Wait, the one who's like 17?
Yes.
Okay.
Sigrid gets up. And she is demanding respect immediately as well. It's like there's something about her that just everyone's just
Like
looking at her.
otherworldly.
Otherworldly, yes. That's a good word, and sure, that's nothing to do with
She's
this.
the fasten!
Exactly. Fasten. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. I stand before you today, representing the future of Sweden. Since 1477, Uppsala University has been on the forefront of innovation and scientific discovery. Faced with animosity and hostility, she stood strong, ready and willing to serve those of us who search for knowledge about all else. Today, 400 years since our university was founded, I stand before you to honor our sacred institution. Today, I ask of you to see what the power of science, what the power of knowledge can bring to our people. Today, we make history. Today will mark a new era for not only science, but for Uppsala. The lion of the north shall roar again, claiming the respect it deserves from our European brethren, and upon a new golden age, we shall together ascend.
Can I just roll an insight check because she's
Can I?
I think BBEGAF right now.
Yeah, honestly, I think Henrik is a little bit like, hey Astrid, is this a little Hitler-esque to you?
Yeah,
even though that doesn't exist yet.
got
But
chills.
what the fuck?
I didn't like it. So can I roll an insight check?
Let me roll. Wait, there's no insight, is there? Investigation?
No, it would be I'm
can
guessing
do-
it would be observation.
Oh,
Observation or investigation. How about you roll out investigation and whatever is your strongest?
Great. Oh, that's so kind.
Okay, I failed.
All right.
I got I have
one
7.
success.
Oh, thank God.
You're like, she seems like a great speaker.
I've had
Stand up, gal.
I've had a few drinks and I'm like, I mean, she's young, but she's quite attractive.
Yeah. No, you're into it. You're super into this. No, but she doesn't strike you as anything more like that. She's just ambitious.
Yeah, I think in Henrik's mind, he thinks of almost like Astrid. He's like, good for her, going to college and being, out in the world. Women. He says a few drinks. Go women. I support. I'm an ally.
Yeah.
I love the idea that in my mind, I just look over at you to be like, is this weird? Just connect with our eyes, and you're just like, yeah.
I'm
just like a gentle pump of the fist,
at his side.
she's really good at it. Yeah, exactly. Just
He's like,
you
burn the bra.
and I just double take what,
You're like, he's not
what's
getting
going
it.
on over there, and I just move his drink a little bit away.
Take his drink
from
away.
him.
Yeah, you find her to be kind of mesmerizing, interesting, but she rubs you the wrong way as well, because like you said, like what Sydney said, this is a little Hitler-esque.
Well, and it's after watching putting 1 and 2 together, right? We watched an entire ballroom of people process in front of what's his face, of Peter,
Yeah.
of the Duke.
Yeah.
And he could not have cared less about any of them except for her.
Yeah.
So now to see her kind of call an entire room to chilling order when she's a 17-year-old girl in this economy, it's that's clearly strange.
Exactly. But however, she doesn't strike you as magical or anything like that. It doesn't strike you as any enchantment or anything like that is going on. You also get a slight uncomfortable feeling that she's part of the nationalistic movement that's sort of stirring in Europe right now, that later actually led to, I think, Nazism and things like that. But that because it's all about we shall reclaim Sweden shall be strong,
The glory of the state.
There's a lot of that, and obviously I think back then you wouldn't think about it as anything necessarily wrong, because it's well, what's wrong with that? Yay,
She's a patriot. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So it's not like it's jarring to you, but it's never been something you're super into.
Yeah,
personally.
I also just think there's something
there's always something to me very strange about young nationalists or young patriots who are just, it's like they're not fans of Sailor Moon. They're fans of like the state.
Yeah.
Like it's weird and cult-like.
Yeah, young
Because there's no way that they have enough knowledge in 17 years of life to really know exactly the weight of what they're talking about. So I think that's really the part that strikes the biggest chord of unease with Astrid, is that this young woman who can command the attention of so many with such ease and clearly has the ear and attention of someone in power, like that she's kind of putting those strings together as she watches her, and it's not, doesn't paint a good picture.
And what we haven't seen yet is that behind her there's this huge machinery that a bunch of her servants have basically dragged out from the shadows. I don't think too much about the logistics about that one.
behind the I was gonna say behind the stage, the curtain. And I'm like, now there's a stage.
Exactly.
I'm like, this is better than Titanic.
Exactly. Just
production value is high.
The floors open up, and instead of a pool, it's actually like a deer.
Yeah, and there's this machinery that looks like a steampunk engine, sort of mixed with a submarine, mixed with an MRI.
Hell yeah.
MRI
Howl's
machine.
Moving Castle. Hell yeah.
It's very impressive and advanced for its age, but terrifying with our modern eyes. Like, it looks like a torture machine. There's pipes and wires everywhere. It doesn't seem like it's. I think electricity is not necessarily a thing yet, so it's more like like steam, oil, that kind of stuff happening. And she turns around, and she starts up this machinery. Powered by the rare minerals that can be found in the depths of the old mine of Kiruna, we've spent the last 3 years refining these rare stones. And she holds up a green gemstone that seemed to be glowing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think now Henrik has sobered up a bit. Also, hearing about the mine, at some point, Henrik read a newspaper. Hold on, like in his head. Hold on, the mine. Her husband is like in charge of the mining. She's now talking about these minerals, and he's looking at the rock, and he looks at Astrid, and he looks back at the rock, and he's now catching on too. He's like, okay, something's wrong.
And that's the research center. So the research center of Uppsala has
is at the mining place.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So
they're like, oh, well, you know, last time we saw a jewel like that.
Oh no, don't. Let's just wait.
Yeah.
Don't make a scene.
And she continues.
Don't look at it. If she does something, look away.
And while there has been so much research yet to be made, we have already discovered unprecedented properties and benefits. I shall now demonstrate. And then a young, athletic man walks up on stage. He takes off his shirt, and he looks at Sigrid with complete adoration, and she pats his chin lightly. This brave young man has offered his body to science, and for that we must all be eternally grateful. Please, hold up your hand, sir. And the man does so. And now I want you to step into the chamber and sit on that chair. One of the other assistants straps him in, and his hand is on the table next to him. And then suddenly Sigrid inserts the gemstone into the machine, and then she gives a nod to one of her other assistants, who pulls a lever. And so it all begins. At first there's silence, and then there's a very low humming sound, similar to a strong subwoofer that you can hear like underneath in a theater. And it gets louder and louder, and creating that hollow feeling in your body. And the man on the chair, he looks suddenly very alarmed. And then this sharp metal falls down and completely cuts off his forearm. It is so fast, it's like a guillotine. The whole audience is like barely reacting to it, but then they see all the blood, and it's spraying everywhere.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so at this point there's this sharp intake of breath, and then she's just staring at it because she can't believe that it happened.
And then there's this intense scream of pain and horror from this young man after what feels like 10 seconds of just absolute silence. The Vice Chancellor, Anderson, He stands up. What is the meaning of this? Stop this madness. He does not. He's clearly not in on it.
Yeah.
But Sigrid is very calm, and she's saying, "Wait."
What is she gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
And well, wouldn't you know? Because there's this beam of impossibly bright green light that comes out from the machine, and it covers the young man's entire body, and you can see his screaming, his pain. He's just trying to get out of this machine because he just wants to get out of there. But then he collapses in the chair, unconscious. And everyone, I mean, it's such a bright light, so you're probably like not even being able to, like, you're blinded by it.
I lift my fan in front of our eyes in case there's something magical about it.
Yeah, and most people are just like, what the hell is going on? But then that silence is back, and then you hear more gasps of horror and like weird murmuring going on, and then you two see it as well. Sigrid walks over to the young subject, who's still unconscious, and she lifts up his arm. And the arm is now attached to his body again, so he's completely healed.
Is his arm on the ground anymore? Is like the first arm that he had?
No. It seems like
it's zapped it back together.
Yeah, it's zapped back together.
Is the blood still there?
The blood is still there, but the
That's
mark.
so crazy because visually, like on the arm, you would have like the blood dripping down, but just one half.
Yeah, exactly. But no, there's not even a mark. You can't. It looks like completely new. It looks like nothing has happened, except the only evidence, of course, is the amount of blood covering everything. And the Count stands up, his eyes almost popping out of its sockets. Impossible. And Sigrid says, "Not impossible, Your Grace. Science." And that's the end of this episode.
Dude. Oh no. God. Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Fuck.